house prices in Northern Ireland have seen annual growth for the first time in more than 5 years, according to official figures from the Office for National Statistics. Prices recorded a 1.9% year-on-year rise in May to reach £134,000 on average, marking the first upturn since February 2008. The economist and wealth manager Jonathan Davis with us. Morning to you, Jonathan.
Hello, Stephen.
And Colin Barkley, the estate agent with Morton Pinpoint in North Belfast. Morning, Colin.
Morning, Stephen.
Morning. Well, these are the days you didn't think you'd see, Jonathan. Dr. Doom, and look at this. Prices recorded a 1.9% year-on-year rise.
Well, I think you got a short memory, Stephen. Just about 6 weeks ago, when you last had me on your programme, I said, contrary to the other estate agent you had on who thought that house prices might rise for 6 months, I was the guy who said, actually, I think house prices are probably going to rise for 2 or 3 years. So I'm not at all surprised to see this start upwards, and I think it will continue for a short while. I'd say 2 or 3 years. I'm not surprised at all.
So you think prices will be on the rise for the next 2 or 3 years?
I think it's almost inevitable when prices relatively got so low. I mean, a 50-odd% fall is a massive fall, obviously. On top of that, you've got the lowest interest rates, lowest mortgage rates in, 300 years. And on top of that, you've got successive governments doing everything they possibly can to bring up house prices. The problem is the piper will be paid at some point, and I tell you, we haven't yet seen the bottom.
Colin Barkley?
I think that the news of house prices starting to rise is good. I think the first thing that we had to do is have people realise that we've hit the bottom, and I think that general realisation is out there. There certainly have been a lot more sales over the last 6 months. In fact, in our 3 offices across the city, we have doubled the number of sales June 13 to June 12. So there's definitely movement out there, but I think that any rises will be slow for the next period, but it's good news that it has started.
And what type of gains are you seeing? Are you seeing much bidding now in properties? Are we back to those days?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going back to wholesale bidding, but there are definitely properties where there are 2 or 3 people showing interest. We've found that where supply and demand is balanced correctly, for example, sort of say terrace houses around the sort of east of the city, we've seen over 12 months that they've maybe gone up by 10%. And we're certainly seeing first-time buyers wanting to go back into the market because, as I say, they realise that we've hit the bottom.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I dispute that we've hit the bottom, as I said at the end of my bit there, because although, as I say, I can see some small rises for the next 2 or 3 years, certainly until the next election, because the government will do everything it possibly can to gain re-election. That's what politicians do. The last crowd did it. The current crowd are doing it. Unfortunately, what they're doing is using our money, our tax money, and our kids' money to effectively buy votes for the next election, because this is so important. The lowest interest rates in 300 years. I tell you, with that kind of statistic, there's only one direction that eventually interest rates can go, and that is up. And I put it up, within a few years, interest rates will start rising. And final point, once they start rising, I tell you, within a year, mortgage rates, which may be, say, 4% then, will double within 12 months.
OK, well, it's interesting. Jonathan and Colin, here's the number, 08459 555 678. If you're picking up the phone today, if you've been trying to sell your house, let us know what it's like. Jonathan and Colin, thank you very much indeed.